Hello and welcome to this demo of Configs.Cloud APIs. Today I'll be taking you through a list of APIs available for Configs.Cloud. Before we get into the demo, let's take a look at the overview slides. Any software or process can fetch their configurations in Config.Cloud using these REST APIs. One can get a single config or query a collection of configurations or update a single configuration using these APIs. You can view the list of all available APIs under Configs.Cloud website, Documentation and REST APIs menu. In this page, click on API Documentation link, which opens up all API information on a completely new page. You can also view documentation directly from the application by logging into the application and then going through the menu. Under Configurations, REST API Docs, you can see the complete Swagger documentation. APIs are divided into three main sections: for configs, for dataset, and for environments. Click on List Operations for each of these sections to see the list of operations available under each of them. Click on each of these links further to see more information about each of these APIs. You can try invoking each of these APIs directly from this documentation by clicking on the Try It Out button at the bottom. However, before doing so, you need to authorize yourself for these APIs to work. So in order to authorize yourself, you need to click on the Authorize button at the top of this page, which will open up a small pop-up asking for the XAuth token, which you can get out of your application settings REST API token menu entry, and you can copy this authorization key specific to your user ID and click on Authorize. The whole of this session for the Swagger API is now authorized, and you can execute any of the APIs available under this page. If I come to API Dataset All and click on Try It Out, you can see that the output, the call that the API has made, and the output of that API. This API returns all the datasets associated with the user ID. You can see the two entries, the dataset ID and the dataset name. The dataset ID would be used for all further calls. A dataset is a collection of configurations which, as mentioned in previous demos, a dataset is a collection of configurations. We recommend that you have a different dataset per application or process, which keeps configuration specific to each application or process together. You can also get details specific to one particular dataset using the second API under dataset. You can also get information about a specific dataset if you know the dataset ID, and using this API dataset and dataset ID. In this, if I mention number 2 and then click on Try It Out, I should get exactly the same information as above. The above API is more useful when you have more than one dataset and you want to see all the information about all the datasets. Let's take a look at the environment REST controller and the APIs under them. We have two APIs, the API environment and API environment specific to a environment name. API environment would give you the list of all the environments that's available under your username. So in this example, we have environments which is all, dev, test and live. And if you click on API environment as name specific to one particular short name, which is dev, you would get information specific to only one particular environment. Let's take a look at the APIs available for configurations. We have APIs for configuration specific to a dataset ID, which will give you the list of all the configurations which is available in the entire dataset. Now this could be really big depending upon the number of configurations we have, and this call could take more time, again depending upon the volume of the configurations we are dealing with. So it's always recommended that you narrow it down either based on an environment or based on a specific key itself. So the second API, the API configs dataset ID environment's name, would give you all the configurations specific to one particular environment. For example, if I choose dev here, I'd be able to see that. It will only give you configuration specific to that particular environment. And if I narrow it down further by giving a specific key, which is the one that we expect it to be used the most, you can say dev and say mention the key for a specific configuration, and you can see just one specific configuration entry. The next available API is to update a particular environment key with a value. Do note that you can't add a new key but only update the existing values. So let's take a look at how to do that. If you enter the dataset ID, the environment name, and the key, and say a different value, if I say try it out, it will give you the request URL format and the message that it's been updated successfully as a response. Also, for all the APIs, you can always look at the response code, standard for any REST APIs, or you can look at the response headers, which is also quite handy in most cases. You can always go back to the application to take a look at the complete auditing, you can always go back to the application to look at the auditing logs to see all the changes that has happened using the REST APIs. You can see all the entries by sorting it in reverse by date. That was a quick demo of all the APIs available under Config.Cloud. Thank you for watching, and feel free to build your software using these APIs. Thank you.